him, and Pitino wouldn't do it. I understand why, because of the rigors of the Big East, but it is. I think it does mean something to continue rivalries like Louisville and Memphis.
Sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're calling this the Hall of Fame shootout. It'll be December 17th here in Louisville. So, just for a little side note.
Sure. Passner's still got, he's definitely still got a lot of momentum going there.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of young talent. A couple players left his team last year, I believe, but I think he had another top 25 recruiting class, so
Is
he'll
it
be
a
all
sign
right.
that Pitino's going to change his approach to early season scheduling, you think?
I don't think Pitino's going to ever change his approach on anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Yeah, he's changing his approach.
Yeah, it's hard.
Let's not be ridiculous, Tyler.
It's hard. I mean, on any given time, there can be 12 teams in the Big East they're tough NCAA tournament type, teams. But I think Louisville should just play. I think with the way the NCAA tournament is set up, that play early season games, learn from them, get better. You'll still find your way in the tournament if you're worthy to be in the tournament. I mean, it does mean something to get to the tournament, but first round flameouts, I'd rather not be in the tournament than get to the tournament. And then
you got to say that's if Pitino's to kind of change it up, aside from scheduling UNLV and Butler and considering that your
Western.
difficult non-conference early games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Instead
do
of
think
that, if he mixes in Memphis and mixes it up a little bit, maybe it will change the outcome of the first round of the tournament.
Well, I do think it helped this team. I do think the easy preseason schedule helped this team because it gave them confidence.
Easy preseason and early.
Yeah, it gave them confidence and it gave them games to gel that I don't think they would have had if they had played some upper echelon teams. I mean, you look at what Kentucky did to them in December, and Kentucky really manhandled them.
It wasn't even a game.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky showed that they were a better team. I think Louisville at the end of the season was playing much better. I do think the loss to
teams too.
Yeah, the loss to Morehead State I think
twice.
was an anomaly. It wasn't what Louisville was during the regular season, but year in and year out, the team that you want to put on the floor, they should be ready to play at least top 25 teams. I'm not talking and going out and playing, just a murderer's row every single year trying to find the teams that are going to be in the top 10. But, you've got to play a top 25 schedule.
It's a balancing act because if you have a team that has a couple injuries and then you have a couple bad shooting games, you could realistically, if Pitino did schedule some real tough guys early in the year, not far-fetched to say he could lose like 10 games in a row and just everything's just ruined, right? That's got to be tough. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but you could really just screw yourself if you do that.
Yeah, but also then Pitino is the ultimate advocate for the Big East. I mean, you can lose 10 games in the Big East according to Pitino and definitely still make the tournament. So if he has that much confidence, he needs to put the team out on the floor that can play a top 25 schedule and still go into the Big East and compete. Protect your home court, and then you lose some of the games on the road, but you still make the NCAA tournament. And with that early preseason schedule, you're better prepared for the NCAA tournament is the way I look at it.
Oh, yeah.
And that school, that school of thought makes sense. There's different approaches. Cal and out of the Larry Brown school, right? They have a different approach.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Syracuse, I think Pitino is really taking one out of Jim Boeheim's book. I think a team that's had relatively good tournament success, like Syracuse, is the only team that doesn't play anybody during the regular season or during the preseason or prior to conference. You look at Michigan State, play anybody anywhere. North Carolina plays anybody anywhere. Kentucky plays anybody anywhere. UCLA has been down for the past couple years, but when they made their runs to the Final Four, they played anybody anywhere. The teams that are consistently in the Final Four usually play a tough schedule year in and year out.
But none of those teams are in the Big East.
But still, I mean,
outside of the Big East, yeah.
Well, it kind of falls back to Pitino. The other day, I think he was talking in some kind of interview saying somebody asked him about UConn being the national champion of last season and then how U of L, I think they beat them twice.
They beat them twice.
Beat them twice. And he was saying that just shows the depth of the conference, how far apart number 9 and number 1 is.
It's true.
Number 9, UConn, they were number 9 in the Big East, and look, they won the national championship.
Yeah, but I mean, what was it? It was a there. You get that logjam though in the Big East, to where I think that there's not a lot of teams that differentiate themselves. I think that the losses between the first and the 12th place was only 4 games. And I think in the loss column, UConn was only different from Pittsburgh by 3 games.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. It kind of falls back into the the one-team conference. I think that plays a big factor into it.
Yeah, that's a great.
Which kind of goes into the the SEC.
Great segue there,
Yep.
Tyler.
Go ahead.
SEC football is
Basketball.
I'm
Basketball.
sorry. SEC football wants to pay players. That's nothing new. Let's move on to SEC basketball. Is removing the sub conferences. It's just going to be one giant conference.
Yep.
What do you guys think of that?
I think it's great. I think it's needed. Last year, basketball, it could have helped out a lot. Alabama was a team, I believe, that missed out on the tournament.
Yes.
Alabama
one of those teams
missed
that
out.
beat Kentucky.
Yeah. One of those teams beat Kentucky at Alabama that missed the tournament. They were number 1 in the West. After their number 1 player, JaMychal Green, came back, they had a above 500 record. I think it was about 13-3, 12-4 in the SEC, and they were stubbed to the tournament.
And so it's tough for me to follow the whole thought process of that.
It's basically they're basing it for the SEC tournament is because you have the Mississippi State. Alabama probably did deserve to be in the NCAA tournament, but what they're saying
They were a bubble team regardless.
Yeah, they were a bubble team regardless, but if they hadn't had one divisions, and then you're going to have a rotating schedule to where you may play teams that were in the old East twice, and then everything, kind of comes around, is because with the 2 divisions, Alabama was based too heavily on the fact that they had played every team in the SEC West, which a couple of those teams were flat out horrible. LSU was flat out horrible. Auburn was horrible. Ole Miss wasn't any good, and Mississippi State.
They were talented, but they just did not play together.
Yeah, they didn't play well at all.
Who's that?
Mississippi State.
Yeah, and that's another thing that they want to avoid is Mississippi State also got the bye in the SEC tournament, which 3 other teams in the SEC East had better records than Mississippi State, so you want to avoid that.
So are they going to have more of a Big East structure? You think their tournament will reflect kind of how Big East has? What do they have? Big East has how many byes?
Big East has way too many games. It's like a week-long tournament.
You're the number 1 seed and you get 2 byes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two byes.
They brought everybody in. They brought everybody in the Big East now.
What's the 18 of them?
Because it used to be the last 2 teams in the Big East were you didn't get to play in the tournament.
So how many? I wonder how the structure of the SEC tournament will be.
It'll still be the
top 4 seeds.
Top 4 seeds will get a bye.
Top 4 seeds will get a bye. They said they're going to stick with the 16 games, just like the normal, how it's been in the past with the East and the West divisions, and then they're going to look into a 18 and possibly 20 game schedule come 2013 for the conference, which would be kind of nice.
Yeah, and then that way everybody will play twice.
Everybody will play twice
in the league, so you don't lose because the big thing is these rivalries that have already been developed. Pretty much everybody with Kentucky, the Kentucky Tennessee, the Kentucky Florida, the Kentucky Vandy. All those want to be home and home. And what a lot of people talked about today is the great games that Kentucky Arkansas had in the 90s. You want to get that and develop some more of these rivalries because it's not really changing that Kentucky's going to be the headliner for SEC basketball.
Oh yeah.
We want you to call in to our live line at 502-265-5211.
Give us your thoughts about anything. Charlie Strong, maybe possibly going to Ohio State in a year. Thoughts about the division for SEC basketball.
Kevin Ware committing to the Cards. Call in, Louisville fans. We need Louisville fans to call in, get on the website, make a profile.
We do.
It'd be nice.
Need some more Louisville support, even though we're at a Kentucky bar. Louisville fans' money is all green. It spends very well down here at Big Blue Country, so come on in. Go to the site. Tell us what you think, Louisville fans.
Certainly. Our next topic, we got Tyler, for some reason, is just real enamored with this tennis player. He just, every time I turn around, all he's talking about is this. What's his name, Tyler?
It's Eric Quigley, graduate from South Oldham,
Oh, okay.
local kid.